at this very spot. Antelope, buffalo, even the occasional careless leopard had fallen prey to his ambush. A lion, though, was a rare and worthy challenge. But Sobek felt no fear, only the cold ancient instinct to kill honed by countless hunts. He watched as Leo lowered his head to drink, the golden mane brushing the water's edge. This was the moment of vulnerability he had been waiting for, when even the king of the savannah let his guard down. In his element, Sobek held every advantage. The river masked his scent and muffled his movements. The stage was set for a sudden violent attack, a clash between two apex predators at the water's edge. The king of the water was ready to strike. The river's secrets were about to be revealed, and the ancient struggle between hunter and hunted would play out once more. The battle for survival was moments away, and only one would emerge victorious. Leo drank, his eyes never leaving the water's surface. Every sip was a risk, every moment a gamble. The river, though a source of life, was also a place of lurking danger. Leo's tongue lapped at the cool water, but his mind was alert, senses sharpened by years of survival in the wild. Relief was brief. Every instinct screamed danger. The jungle was alive with hidden threats, and Leo knew that even a moment's distraction could be stand his ground. To run would mean surrendering his place in the wild hierarchy. To back down would be to show weakness. In the wild, weakness is an invitation for others to challenge, to take what is yours, each measuring the other, both aware that only one could claim victory. The challenge was issued. The answer would be violent. The river, once calm, now became the stage for a deadly contest. Leo's gamble was bold. He would not yield his kingdom. His territory, his pride, and his very life depended on his resolve. The silent watcher beneath the surface was ready. The crocodile, ancient and cunning, had patience honed by countless hunts. The first move had been made. Water exploded in a spray of violence. The calm shattered in an instant. The battle was about to erupt. Both creatures, masters of their domains, prepared for the ultimate test. In the wild, hesitation means death. Every decision, every movement could tip the balance between life and oblivion. Leo's fate hung in the balance. The jungle's silence was deafening, as if nature itself awaited the outcome. The ultimate test of power and will was seconds away. In this moment, only the strongest would survive. The jungle watched, silent and tense. Every creature, from the smallest bird to the largest elephant, sensed the coming storm, a battle that would echo through the wild for days to come. Sobek exploded from the water, a missile of muscle and teeth. The river erupted, water spraying as jaws snapped toward Leo's head. The attack was swift, violent, and overwhelming. Sobek's jaws clamped down on Leo's muzzle, bone-crushing and relentless. The crocodile began to drag Leo toward the water, aiming to end the fight in his element. Mud gave way under Leo's paws as he struggled, panic and rage surging. He dug in, muscles straining against Sobek's pull. It was a titanic struggle, land versus water, king versus king. The outcome was uncertain, the stakes life and death. Leo's life hung by a thread. The battle had been... Trapped in Sobek's grip, Leo fought back with desperate fury. Unable to bite, he slashed with razor-sharp claws, aiming for Sobek's eyes. Most blows glanced off armored scales, but one found its mark, tearing into the crocodile's eyelid. Pain shocked Sobek, his grip loosening for a split second. He scrambled back, roaring defiance, putting distance between himself and the river. On solid ground, the advantage shifted. Leo circled, wounded but unbroken, as Sobek struggled on the muddy bank. The crocodile was powerful but clumsy. The battle was far from over. Leo had survived the first assault. Now he prepared to attack. The fight for dominance raged on. The two titans faced off, a brutal stalemate on the muddy shore. Leo, bleeding and enraged, paced just out of reach, searching for an opening. Sobek, half in the water, kept his jaws pointed at the lion, his injured eye bleeding. This was now a battle of endurance and intelligence. Leo feinted and darted, testing Sobek's defenses. The crocodile pivoted slowly, never exposing his flank. Minutes dragged by, tension thick in the air. Leo's rage cooled to focus. He studied Sobek's movements. He saw the crocodile's weakness, slow to turn, vulnerable in the body. A dangerous plan formed in Leo's mind. He would use his strength and agility to attack where Sobek was weakest. The risk was immense, but it was his only chance. The next move would decide everything. The jungle watched, silent and expectant. Leo prepared to strike. The final gambit was at hand. Leo committed, gathering his strength for a decisive leap. With a roar, he launched himself over Sobek's snapping jaws, landing on the crocodile's back. The impact drove Sobek into the mud, stunning him. Leo dug in, claws searching for purchase, jaws closing on the crocodile's neck. Sobek thrashed, tail whipping, but Leo held on, biting with all his might. The crocodile's struggles weakened as the lion's attack intensified. This was the turning point. Leo's strategy and strength overwhelmed Sobek on land. The ancient predator was being overpowered. The battle reached its climax in a frenzy of mud, blood, and fury. The outcome was becoming clear. The king of the land had seized his moment. The wild's law was being rewritten. Only one would walk away. The struggle neared its end. Sobek's thrashing ceased. His body went limp. Leo, battered and bleeding, released his grip and stood over his fallen foe. He did not celebrate. Exhaustion and pain replaced adrenaline. The king had survived, but at great cost. He turned toward the jungle, limping, his wounds a reminder of the battle's price. The fight for survival was never truly over. Other predators would be drawn by the scent of blood. The jungle's rhythm slowly returned. Scavengers would feast. The cycle of life and death continued. The legend of this battle would echo through the wild. Leo's roar was not of triumph, but of survival. The law of the jungle remained. Only the strongest endure. Power is fleeting, but courage and cunning decide who rules. The king disappeared into the shadows, wounded but unbroken. The wild watched, ever ready for the next test. Collide. The king of the land and the master of the river, each a symbol of power in their own domain, now faced each other across the muddy water. The stage was set for a clash of titans. All eyes, predator and prey alike, watched, sensing the gravity of the moment. The jungle held its breath, waiting for the outcome. Every creature, from the smallest insect to the largest mammal, seemed to pause, caught in the suspense of what was to come. Every sound, every shadow was charged with tension. The rustle of leaves, the snap of a twig, the distant roar, all signaled that the balance of power was about to shift. The strong would survive, the weak would fall. In this ancient arena, only the most cunning and resilient would endure. This was the wild, raw and unforgiving. Here, nature's rules were absolute and every day was a battle for existence. And today, the ultimate battle was about to begin, a confrontation that would echo through the jungle, remembered by all who witnessed it. Leo the lion, king of the jungle, moved with silent power toward the river. His golden mane framed a face marked by years of dominance. Muscles rippled beneath his tawny coat as he stalked forward, every sense alert. The heat pressed down, his thirst driving him on. He paused at the river's edge, scanning for danger. The mud squelched under his paws. The water looked calm, but Leo knew better. He crouched low, ears swiveling, nose twitching, reading the jungle's signals. Danger could come from anywhere, even for a king. The river was both a necessity and a threat. Leo's instincts screamed caution, but his need for water was stronger. He lowered his head, muscles tensed, ready for anything. Pride and survival warred within him. He would not be an easy target, even if he couldn't see his enemy yet. The showdown was inevitable. Beneath the river's surface, Sobek the crocodile waited, motionless and silent, blending perfectly with the muddy water and tangled roots. This was his world, a shadowy realm where few dared to venture, and even fewer returned. Ancient and armored, Sobek was a living relic of a time when monsters ruled the earth. His thick, rugged scales were like natural armor, forged by centuries of survival in the harshest conditions. He was a master of patience and camouflage, able to vanish into the landscape with barely a ripple. Only his eyes and nostrils broke the water, a deadly illusion perfected over millennia. To the untrained eye, he was nothing more than a floating log, but beneath the surface, every muscle was coiled and ready to explode into action. Sobek sensed Leo's approach long before the lion reached the bank. Vibrations in the earth and subtle shifts in the current told him all he needed to know. The jungle was alive with sound, but Sobek could pick out the heavy, deliberate steps of a predator. He remained motionless, calculating, waiting for the perfect moment. The river was his fortress. Here he was the apex predator, the silent ruler of these waters. Every creature that came to drink was a potential meal, and Sobek had learned to wait for the moment when caution gave way to thirst. Sobek had claimed many victims. The riverbank was a gamble, as predators watched from the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The river was a boundary. Crossing it meant gambling with life itself. For some, it was a passage to safety. For others, it was the edge of danger, where the bravest and most desperate dared to tread. For every beauty, there was a threat. For every gentle grazer, a predator waited. The balance of life and death played out in every clearing, every shadow, as the jungle's inhabitants navigated a world of constant risk. Here the law was simple: survive or become a meal. The strong thrived, the weak fell, and every day was a new test of cunning, strength, and instinct. Even the smallest creatures played their part, from insects pollinating flowers to monkeys leaping through the treetops, each adding to the vibrant pulse of the jungle.